Over the past decades, of the many problems that you've heard about, few have gained more attention and to some extent hype than electric vehicles. After decades of driving fuel guzzling cars, people's attention in electric vehicles has grown exponentially as they grow ever increasingly climate conscious. It was not until 2015 when I went to the UK that I actually saw an electric vehicle. From that moment onwards, one thing that got engraved in my mind was cleaner equals greener. This wasn't without reason though. The buses had electric written all over in large bold letters with multiple posters of greenery, and some even had catchy taglines such as another red bus going green for London. Naturally, so much attention made me wonder as to what was so special about them. As years have passed by, this trend has only increased. Last year, I came across an article which claimed that Norway has now become the EV capital of the world, with EVs having a commanding 65% market share. This took me by surprise because the last I had read, Norway was one of the largest producers of crude oil in the world, which made me liken them to someone like Saudi Arabia. In fact, the Norwegian government has heavily incentivized the sale of electric vehicles, such as lowering taxes on their sale and even exempting them from road tolls. On the contrary, they have levied additional taxes on traditional cars, such as a 25% VAT and also a NOx tax. The impact of these policies has been almost instant. Last year, 9 out of 10 cars sold in Norway were either electric or hybrid. Now, after listening to all of this, you might be wondering as to why I have spent the last couple of minutes praising Norway. But doesn't getting to know about this make you wonder? Why can't we do the same here in India? In fact, with a population as large as India's, even if we can get a considerable chunk of people hooked onto electric vehicles, we'd be saving a lot of carbon footprints. Speaking on behalf of urban India, most families own more than one vehicle. With the rising fuel prices and climate change on the horizon, I believe we all have a part to play in reversing these trends. Firstly, India may be a land of many traditions, but I think we can all agree that one thing India is not a land of is good roads. Although crores of rupees have been spent on improving them, the condition of most is still mediocre at best. Due to conditions like these and problems like overcongestion, the demand for two-wheelers has gained increased traction in recent years. In fact, when I was younger, I hardly remember seeing any, but nowadays they can be found on almost any street anywhere. Looking at pre-pandemic data, 21 million of these were sold in 2019 alone. By looking at this data and having lived in Mumbai for a large chunk of my life, I can tell you that electric two-wheelers are going to be at the forefront of India's push for cleaner vehicles. To begin with, one of the biggest negatives about electric vehicles is their miserly range, which is a big stumbling block for four-wheelers, which people regularly use for long-distance travel. Nevertheless, this is where electric two-wheelers gain an upper hand, as they are mostly used by people for daily chores, which, for obvious reasons, don't involve long-distance travel. Furthermore, having first-hand witnessed the state of traffic in Mumbai, most people keep their vehicles running at the traffic lights. Even here, electric two-wheelers are better for the environment, as they have smaller lithium-ion batteries, which in turn have a smaller carbon footprint. And finally, charging has proved to be a major stumbling block, with the majority of urban dwellers preferring to live in high-rises, which do not have garages like in Western countries. This has made charging a painful task, with only a handful of housing societies having EV charging stations. However, most modern e-scooters now have removable batteries, which can be charged at home overnight, helping save a lot of hassle, and most importantly money, which is especially important in a price-sensitive market like India. In conclusion, I believe we have now reached a point where the growth of the EV market is not hindered as much by cost and technology as it is by lackluster infrastructure. To sum it up, I believe the infrastructure will be in place, and I see a lot of potential for EVs and especially electric two-wheelers to flourish in India in the future. Thank you for being a great audience.